Seegers, can you please take roll call? We're going to be adding.
Two of them.
This is just a
Borninski,
Good evening.
Foster,
Good evening.
Ganguly,
Good evening.
Graham Hudek.
Good evening.
Let the record reflect that Clerk Segrist is in attendance, Slavens,
Good evening.
and Snyderman.
Alive and kicking.
Yay. Thank you. Can we please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda with the addition of, let's call this G0, authorize Canton Township to join Western Wayne communities in the filing of a lawsuit to stop radioactive waste from coming to Wayne County, Michigan.
So moved.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Trustee Snyderman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. The first item we have is a presentation or recognition of resolutions, recognition of National Civics B students. And I'm going to invite the President of the Chamber of Commerce to talk about it over here at the podium.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Thomas Payton, President of the Canton Chamber of Commerce, and we are so excited to be here this evening to recognize our three recipients, the winners of our National Civics Bee. And just to give you a little bit of the backstory behind this event. The Canton Chamber, as I mentioned, is pleased to publicly honor the achievements of these three local students for their accomplishments in the 2023-24 National Civics Bee competitions. This was the first year that the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, along with 6 local chambers throughout the state, were invited to participate in the National Civics Bee competition. And absolutely, our 3 Canton contestants, they definitely seized the moment. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce created this National Civics Bee to harness the potential of young Americans to turn this country around by engaging in civics and really being engaged and active citizens in their communities. The National Civics Bee is a fun-filled annual competition that serves as an on-ramp for middle school youth. The competition reaches young Americans during a critical window of their development in grades 6 through 8 and removes barriers for participation by incentivizing them in learning as a fun game with a clear path to success and to win the championship and secure prizes along the way. The basis of this competition is to engage middle school students in the value and voice we have through civic rights. The students were asked to compose a 500-word essay identifying a problem or opportunity in their community that could be created or solved through citizens working together and applying the civics principles. Our success, the Chamber's success in recruiting 39 essays this first year, the majority of which came from the Plymouth Canton Community Schools, is credited with great thanks to Rania Hamoud, the PCCS Middle School's Curriculum Coordinator for Social Studies. Their middle school educators played key roles in the success of these young minds, and thanks goes to them as well. The essays were thoughtfully crafted and contained ideas that will be shared with local officials as possible projects in the future. All essays were independently blind judged by a panel of 4 to 8 judges across the state and even locally. And the top 20 scoring essays qualified for the live competition that the Canton Chamber hosted at Eastern Michigan University back in April. The top 3 scores then went on to compete in the state competition that was hosted just back in June, I believe, right, Pam? In July. Time goes by quickly. That was hosted at in Lansing at our state's capital, and all 3 of our Canton students was a clean sweep at the state competition. So please join me in recognizing these wonderful young adults that placed first, second, and third, both locally and also at our state competition. We do have some certificates of recognition that will also be given to our students. It was Simon that could not be here this evening, but we do have Rawan that's here from Discovery Middle School. She placed first at the local competition and third at the state competition. So Rawan, please come up and be recognized. Round of applause for Rawan. And we're gonna have you just stand up front for a photo op in just a moment. Simon Reed, he's from West Middle School. He placed second at both the local and state competitions. Simon could not be with us this evening, but we'll still honor him with a round of applause as well. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have Evan from East Middle School. He placed third at the local competition and first at the state competition. And Evan will represent Canton at the Washington, D.C. national competition on November 12th with the chance to win a $50,000 scholarship. So Evan, please come up and be recognized.
Congratulations.
Great job.
So Thomas and Pam they worked very hard, and the chamber worked very hard with this. They ran all over the country. I know Thomas was on his way to Lansing, now he's gonna go to Washington DC. Hello, okay. So no, thank you for all your effort with this.
Absolutely. And if I could, I must, which I didn't do when I first started talking, but I have to thank Pamela Batcho. Pam, actually, I came with this thought and wanted the Canton Chamber and our community to participate, but Pam is the one that executed and actually made it happen. So thank you so much, Pam. A round of applause for her as
Yes,
well.
thank you. Would the board like to say anything? Anybody? Kate, go ahead.
Yeah, I was one of the judges, and I was just so impressed with the quality of the essays, and I don't know if I judged any of yours because I didn't know who they were, whose they were, but yeah, it was fun, and I'm so glad that you guys won and represent Canton, and keep going, competing like this in the future.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, congratulations, and we're all very proud of you. Thank you once again. Can't wait to hear what happens in Washington. Next, we have a public hearing. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Right, we will be doing 3 motions. Madam Supervisor, I move to open the public hearing on the millage rates for the December 1, 2024 tax levy.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Segrist, supported by Trustee Foster. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. So Director Trumbull, do you want to give a background on what we're having a public hearing on?
Sure, we're looking to set the millage rates for the December 1st, 24 tax levy. The tax levy in total that we're going to be requesting is 12.2839 mils, which is actually a reduction of .007 mils due to the Headley rollback for the roads millage. So overall, the police millage, the fire millage, and the general fund millage will remain the same as previous year, no tax increase, and the roads millage will actually be down .007. So the overall millage for the township taxes that are levied will be less for this current year. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to come up and speak during the public hearing on this? Okay, let me check online. Okay, we have 9 attendees. If you'd like to speak on the public hearing for the millage rates, please raise your hand electronically and I'll call on you. Anyone like to speak? Okay, no hands up. All right. Again, anyone in the room? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Trustee Snyderman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, anything from the board?
Should I make a motion?
Sure. Oh, I thought we made that.
Madam Supervisor, I move that the millage rates to be levied by Canton Township on December 1, 2024 be set as follows. Charter Mills General Fund, 1.4760. Fire Protection Special Assessment, 3.7480. Police Protection Special Assessment, 5.6760. Roads Assessment, 1.3839, for a total of 12.2839 mils.
Can I have a support, please?
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Treasurer Slavin. So the Township Board were required to hold a public hearing on the proposed December 1, 2024 millage rates. The 24 millage rates must be certified to Wayne County by September 30th, 2024. That's why we're doing it now. We do this every year. The millage rates requested are required to balance the fiscal year 2025 budget. The combined millage rates of 12.2839 mils for December 1st, 2024 levy is a reduction from the 23 millage rate by .007 mils due to the required Headley rollback of the roads millage. So we have a deduction in our millage. Any questions or comments? Stephen?
Yeah, thank you. Great that it's going to be a reduction to the community, but Director Trumbull, can you remind me and the community, I think originally we passed a millage for the roads of 1.49?
1.45.
45, okay.
Correct.
And now we're down to 1.38, which I think we've had sufficient funding for our roads over the last few years, but can you just remind us why that happens?
Yeah, so due to the Headley rollback, the property taxes that you collect in the community cannot exceed inflation or 5%, whichever is less. So when your property tax growth in your existing properties is higher than that 5%, they require the millage rate be rolled back to ensure that the taxes collected for that purpose are no higher than 5% or inflation. So this year, it is 5% is what the inflation factor is set by the state. So individuals may see an increase in their tax bill if their taxable value on their property went up, but the taxable value on everybody's property, unless they had an improvement on it, or if it was uncapped because the property changed hands, it was sold, everybody's taxable value should have gone up by no more than 5%. So we're keeping the millage rates the same, and the roads millage was rolled back.
And so does that mean that the millage will never be back at 1.45?
Correct. You can, once the Headley rollback happens, the only way to bounce that back up, even in bad times, if there was if the values went down, the Headley, the millage rate never rolls back up unless it goes to a vote of the people and the voters approve it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Wait, there was a hand.
Trick,
Oh, I'm sorry. You gotta raise your hand, raise your hand.
get it up there.
I was just looking at some of the other millages that we levy, the charter one and the police and fire, and all of those are also lower than they originally were. So I found it interesting that pretty much all of our millages are lower than they were when they were originally started.
Yeah, so the charter township, when it started back, back in the day, the majority you could levy was 5 mills for the general property taxes. So we are actually rolled back that we could charge 3.5817 for general operating mills, but the township board has decided to actually not charge the maximum amount authorized by Headley by almost 2 mills. So there's actually 2 more mills of room in the general operating millage, should the township have chosen to go that route. But the township board has chosen to only assess 1.47, so it's lower than what the maximum the township could assess to the residents. The police and fire are actually considered special assessments that were voted in the 70s, 2 different votes by the people, and that millage is authorized up to 10 mills without going back to a vote of the people. So either all of those could also be higher, but those are charged based on the needs of the departments and the budgets each year. So those are assessed and calculated out.
Yep, certainly. But I thought it was interesting to note all that.
Yeah, yep.
Anyone else? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Thanks for that tax decrease. Can I have, do we have any board and commission reports? I know it's summer.
So this is my first time doing this. Well, our first time doing this as a board, but we did have about 3 weeks ago a master plan workshop for the Planning Commission, where we talked about the draft for the master plan. We looked at existing land use. We did a SWOT analysis. We looked at housing and neighborhoods, future land use, redevelopment-ready communities, commercial and infill development, commercial corridor and infill development. We also had a Planning Commission meeting yesterday where we had 4 public hearings where we moved 2 items forward. We had 2 new business items, and we moved both of those forward, including Cherry Hill Village Town Square. We have a master plan workshop coming up again next Monday. And October 15th, we will be having a joint township board planning commission meeting where we will be jointly looking at the draft master plan.
Thank you. Any questions on that? No? Thank you. Any other board or commission reports? Tanya?
So for the Cultural Commission, our meeting in August was postponed to September, but we are planning to have some discussion on the mural that we did in the North Pavilion bathrooms. We are going to continue such projects, and that's one of the main discussion points. And of course, we are continuing our discussion with the history project and to recruit more people to interview. And so those are the things that are happening with the Cultural Commission. And we will have a presentation, the annual presentation to the board in the next quarter.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
What's the date of the September meeting?
19th.
Thanks. Any other board or commission reports? No? All right, thank you. So now we have public comments on agenda items only. For those of you who just came, we did add an agenda item regarding authorizing Canton Township to join Western Wayne County communities in the filing of a lawsuit to stop radioactive waste from coming to Wayne County, Michigan, so that is considered on the agenda. So if anyone would like to make public comment on agenda items only, please go to the podium. Please state your name, and we have 3 minutes for comments. Thank you.
My name is Chandru Acharya. I live on Canton 1616 Delancey Circle. And this is regarding the nuclear waste that is being transported from the Manhattan Project to our backyard. It's really concerning because it's the safety of our kids and the next generations. We don't know the effects of it. Nobody really knows about it. And it's been going on for I don't know how many years. And the primary reason for that is the low tipping fees that Michigan has offered for people to come and dump. So the rates that Michigan State charges for dumping is almost 1/4 of the nearest state that's competitive. So if the rates are low, we become just a waste basket over here where people can come and dump nuclear waste. Nobody has been talking about it, and we urge everybody. We have a petition right now that has more than 2,000 signatures just from Canton. So we really urge the township to take very strong measures and do whatever is in your in your ability to make sure that this doesn't happen in our backyard. It should not happen in any backyard, but definitely not in our backyard. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other comments on public agenda items only? Okay, thank you. Public comment on agenda items is closed. We will have a general public comment on the end of the meeting also. Okay, can I please have a motion to approve the minutes from August 27th, 2024?
So moved.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Trustee Ganguly. I'll start there. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Do we have a treasurer's report or payment of bills?
I will give a quick report. We mailed out the bad debt letters for water bills, anybody who's 6 months in arrears. We did mail out 245 letters in hopes that folks will pay their debt before we go to print for the winter taxes. Otherwise, it'll roll over to the winter tax. And that definitely impacts folks if they have a mortgage. So we always encourage people to pay their debt off. And summer taxes are due on Monday by 4:30. So if you haven't paid your summer tax, and that pays for our schools, please make sure you pay your summer tax by Monday at 4:30. And I have a motion to pay the bills.
Support.
Motion made by Treasurer Slavin, supported by Clerk Segrist. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you for your report, Treasurer Slavins. Can I have a motion on the consent calendar?
Madam Supervisor, I move that the board adopt the consent calendar as presented. Item C1, consider second reading of an adoption of amendment to Appendix A zoning of the Code of Ordinances regarding Cherry Hill and Beck rezoning. Item C2, consider awarding a contract and purchase order to replace the storefront entry doors for Kickers Restaurant at Victory Park. And item C3, consider awarding a contract and purchase order to replace the HVAC rooftop unit at Department of Public Works building.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Trustee Berninski. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Now we move on to the general calendar. The first item is item G0, authorizing Canton Township to join Western Wayne communities to the filing of a lawsuit to stop radioactive waste from coming to Wayne County, Michigan.
Madam Supervisor, I move to approve the above listed budget amendment for $20,000 and for the Township Supervisor to sign any and all necessary documents to join Canton Township with Van Buren Township and other Western Wayne County communities in the filing of a lawsuit to stop radioactive waste from coming to Wayne County, Michigan.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Trustee Berninski. A landfill in Wayne County is preparing to take 6,000 cubic yards of soil and concrete and 4,000 gallons of groundwater and contaminated with radioactive waste from a site in New York where the Manhattan Project developed the atomic bomb during and just after World War II. This radioactive waste at a landfill in a border community has the potential to negatively impact the health and welfare of Canton residents, along with impacting property values in the community. At its last board meeting, the Board of Trustees passed a resolution opposing the radioactive waste from coming to Wayne County from New York. So Wayne Disposal, located in Van Buren, has agreed to take this waste. And Van Buren, so we are joining other communities. Joe, I don't know if you want it, but Van Buren Township is doing the same resolution over in Van Buren right now. Ypsilanti Township is joining us, Romulus, Dearborn Heights, and we are asking other 18 communities of Western Wayne to join us on this. Deputy Supervisor, do you want to comment on anything?
As you said, there's a broad coalition across Western Wayne County that are coming together in the filing of this lawsuit to stop the shipment of radioactive waste from the state of New York to Wayne Disposal, which is in Van Buren Township, just south of Canton. The site where the waste is proposed to be shipped is about 3 miles south of the southern end of Canton. So, as the speaker said earlier, definitely right in the backyard. The total cost of the suit at this point is estimated at about $35,000 to $40,000. Each of the communities are expected to contribute about $5,000 to the suit. We're asking the board to authorize a little bit more money in anticipation that if the suit is fought by the owner of the landfill, which is Republic Waste, that it may cost a little bit more money and take a little bit more time to prevent this shipment of waste from coming from New York.
Thank you. And last Thursday, there was a town hall meeting sponsored by Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, and Executive Warren Evans on this. At the meeting, the EPA was there, EPA, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Eagle. There were also Department of Transportation, probably, and it lasted 3 hours because that's how many residents spoke up against it. If you would like to see it, it is on Debbie Dingell's Facebook page. It says Representative Debbie Dingell. If you can't locate it, let us know and we can send that to you. But you'll get a gist of what is happening. If you also look at the New York sites, Lewiston, New York, about the residents have been pushing to move this radioactive waste for years. So they just found our site to do it. There's 5 locations in the United States that will take waste like this. 2 are in Texas, one's in Idaho, one's in Utah, and 1 is in Wayne County, Michigan, where all of us reside. So they're sending it all here because, as was said, we have low tipping fees. So it's monetary, basically, what's happening. So we're doing this injunction so that we can get more time to look at what happened. The residents of New York had a comment period. We didn't know about it. The Detroit Free Press is the one that broke the story and told us about it. Also, when you look at the New York sites, some of the videos, they did talk about, they showed them the exact routes that this waste would take leaving the site, coming to our sites here. And when it was asked at the town hall meeting, what are the routes that are going to be taken, what's going to happen, they said, we don't have to inform you. So we've been treated very differently. New York has a total ban on toxic waste, so we're trying to push for that in Michigan. And this is a start. The community's gathering up steam to do that right now. So I think the board to consider it. Any questions or comments? Kate?
Yeah, I attended the town hall also, and I want to note that the other 4 sites that were considered, some of them are in a much less populated area, and to me, it's a concern that they decided to move it to somewhere where we have a higher population density. I also note that the site where they're trying to bring this waste is just adjacent to the Huron River, and also residential areas, and there's a school across the street. The waste will be buried under dirt that is only 10 feet deep.
Yes, and someone did bring up, if you remember the air show last year, the MiG crashed. That MiG went into the ground about 10 feet. So 10 feet's not a lot. Stephen? Sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the event last week. I was recovering from illness, but I'm definitely in support of this motion to support this action. It's hard to believe we're talking about something that was created 80 years ago, but it really shows how powerful it really is. There's a reason why they didn't test the actual bomb in the middle of a highly populated area when they developed it back then. And I think the same care should be taken when deciding where to put this waste. And yeah, when you think of Texas, Utah, and Idaho, you think of sparse, wide open spaces, not one of the most populated not the most populated area in Michigan and one of the most populated in the country. So I'm in support of it.
Yeah, I attended it as well. It was a very good turnout, and people were very vocal and brought out a lot of concerns. One of the concerns is for our first responders. If these trucks roll over, something happens to them. They said that they'll contact Eagle, but of course, first responders will be the first ones that'll have to get there. So that's pretty frightening. And there's a couple of little subdivisions right around that area, and a lot of those folks have well water. So I'm in support of this, and I do encourage our residents also to be vocal and let your state representative and senator and your congresswoman know that you are not in favor of this.
Anyone else? Summer?
Yeah, I don't want to repeat everything that's been said. I will just say that I find it very unfortunate that they don't have any obligation to notify communities that it's coming, communities either where it's going to be taken or neighboring communities. I agree with everything that has been said, and I am in support of this. And I thank you for your leadership in bringing the communities together to file this injunction.
Thank you. Tanya?
Yeah, I agree with what Summer said right now, that there was absolutely no notice for anyone given, and we just came to know about it from the newspapers. Leadership here came to know about it from the newspapers, and the residents looking at the newspaper and calling us or emailing us. And I agree with what everyone else has said before me, and I am for this injunction to be filed. And as Diane said, the community needs to be more vocal. They can email, they can call their state legislators, their congress people, and let them know that this cannot happen in our backyard in such a densely populated area.
Thank you. Michael, do you want to say anything?
I have nothing to say that has not been said.
Thank you. I just got an email from Van Buren Township. Their board just passed their resolution. So they are joining this. They're leading the effort because it's in their township. All right, thank you. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Item G1, consider approval of the Lots Road Sewer District Pump Station Reimbursement Agreement and authorization of the Township Supervisor to execute the agreement.
Madam Supervisor, I move to approve the Lots Road Sewer District Pump Station Reimbursement Agreement and authorize the Township Supervisor to execute said agreement, subject to finance and legal services approval.
Motion made by Clerk Segers, supported by Treasurer Slavens. Engineering Services is requesting that the Township Board authorize the supervisor to execute the Lots Road Sewer District Pump Station Reimbursement Agreement. This agreement was established with the developers of the Lots Road Sewer District in order to provide the district with sewer access. The current developers will pay their share of the cost of the sewer pump station and associated public utilities based on how much of the district they are developing. The remaining costs will be borne by the Township Sewer Fund, which will be reimbursed as the remaining areas of the district are developed. Director Norwood, do you want to add anything?
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. The only thing I'd like to add is this is actually a part of the components of developing that area. So this is, they've already gone through, they're going through the planning process and working with the development services on the actual structures they're building. This is just part of that process. So the developer has been cooperative with us, and we're looking forward to getting this development online.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item G2, consider site plan amendment for Rusty Nail Lounge.
Madam Supervisor, I move to approve the resolution for planning application number 057-DIR-7893 as presented.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Treasurer Slavens. Let's see. Rusty Nail Lounge proposes to amend its site plan to add an outdoor dining area on the east side of the building. The applicant also proposes additional landscaping, installing a stormwater pond, constructing a dumpster enclosure, adding curbing and wheel blocks around the perimeter of the parking lot, installing compliant site lighting, and creating formal driveway circulation for Marlowe Street. The building and pre-existing perimeter of the parking lot are not proposed to expand. At its meeting on August 12, 2024, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the site plan subject to conditions. Director Norwood, do you want to add anything to that?
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. I don't have anything to add to this. However, the community planner, Patrick Sloan, is also here to answer any questions we might have.
Thanks. Patrick, do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add beyond what's in our staff report, but I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Summer, you were at the meeting. Anything?
I don't have anything to add, thank you.
Any questions from the board? Comments? Stephen?
Just, I saw in the Planning Commission minutes, some discussion about the Ford Road Boulevard project, and I was wondering if the planner could just comment on that at all.
Sure. As redevelopments take place along Ford Road and as time goes on where we learn more information about the Ford Road Boulevard project, we're able to provide more information to the applicants as well as MDOT in terms of what the future proposed right-of-way is of Ford Road. In this instance, the applicant had reached out to MDOT directly about the future right-of-way plans, and our understanding was that there was no additional right-of-way proposed by MDOT along the frontage of Rusty Nail. In terms of the project impact, in terms of the road and sidewalk area, once they actually get into the construction and any possible construction easements, that may be a little bit different than the actual right-of-way itself.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone else? Michael?
I would just say, you know, Rusty Nail has been a staple in Canton Township for longer than I've been here, and these site improvements sound fantastic, and I'm in support, and I really look forward to seeing what they come up with. I think the outside side dining and the increased stormwater is just beautiful.
How long has that been there? 48
Nice.
years. There you go. Since the 30s, wow. Thank you. Well, is Kate?
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to thank Patrick Sloan for answering or at least finding out some answers for me about the detention pond. And I wanted to note that there isn't one there now, but the county is requiring it. And, you know, I get that it's, you know, making things a little more difficult, but I do think it's a good thing. And with the flooding that we've had in Canton, I am glad to see that going in.
Tanya?
Yeah, I am excited to see that the outdoor dining is happening there. And yeah, as Kate said, the detention pond, especially when the Ford Road flooding happened, I'm sure these businesses were kind of in this area were affected, and it would be a good thing to have a detention pond. You know, this would really help with the recent 100-year rains that we are having.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Item G3, consider site plan amendment for the MCWS Medina Activity Center addition.
Madam Supervisor, I move to approve the resolution for planning application number 98-ADS-8197 as presented.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Treasurer Slavens. The Medina Activity Center, owned and operated by the Muslim Community of Western Suburbs, MCWS, consists of assembly uses, prayer halls, classrooms, religious services, youth lounges, business offices, administrative offices, community library, multipurpose hall, and accessory uses. MCWS proposes to construct an attached 41,558 square foot community center field house to the southern side of the current existing MAC building. The existing building was originally approved as an office building in 2001, with an addition approved on the north side in 2008. At its meeting on August 12, 2024, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the site plan subject to conditions. Director Norwood, would you like to add anything?
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. I don't have anything else to add, but again, Community Planner Patrick Sloan's here to answer any questions.
You, Patrick, anything?
Sure. The only thing I will add on this one is that part of their proposed stormwater pond extension it goes eastward onto property that is vacant, that's owned by Canton Township. I'm not aware of any long-term plans for that property. It's adjacent to I-275. But I did want to note that the future location of the pond, or the proposed future location, isn't going to be known until we go through the county review process, or rather the applicant goes through the county review process. So in the future, if this site plan is approved by the board, there will be another follow-up action by the board that will be considered to allow for the pond on township property. So it's illustrated on the plans, but there's no formal action on the location on township property at this time, just because there would have to be an easement agreement, and the final location and construction of that pond will have to be known at that time. So there will be a future board action on that.
Okay, thank you. Summer, do you want to add anything?
Nothing to add, thank you.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? We're all looking forward to this. All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Item G4, consider authorizing agreement with McPherson Son LLC for tactical performance training.
Madam Supervisor, I move to waive the bidding process and approve the one-year agreement with McPherson LLC for tactical performance training in an amount not to exceed $17,500.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Trustee Berninski. The Canton Fire Department is requesting the board waive the bidding process and sign a one-year agreement with McPherson LLC, which will provide tactical performance training for fire personnel. The company will supply monthly sessions and program updates for $1,100 a month, and individual movement assessments for $100 as needed. Director Stockline, do you want to add anything to that?
I'll just say that this is part of our health and wellness initiatives along with our physicals. So obviously we have a very demanding job and we want to keep our firefighters in shape. And this will be a way of doing that. And hopefully within a year or two of collecting data, we can show that this process will also help reduce our workers' comp injuries. So that's kind of the idea behind the health and wellness.
Yeah, that's part of the background. The profession of a firefighter is both physically and psychologically demanding, and over time, repeated exposure to emergency situations can impact the overall well-being of individuals in emergency services. Any questions or comments from the board? Kate?
When you get that data, can you let us know how it turns out?
You know, I'd love to produce data for you guys.
Or Jamie does.
That's sarcasm.
Jamie.
There wasn't, really. Jamie, I just say, Jamie, hey, I need this data.
That's right.
And then it's produced.
That's all you have to do.
Great to have a deputy.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item G5, consider waiving the bidding process and approving the purchase of emergency care products, accessories, and preventative maintenance from Stryker.
Madam Supervisor, I move to waive the bidding process and purchase emergency care products, accessories, and preventative maintenance from Stryker, a sole source provider, in the amount of $1,160. Wait. Whoa. $1,166,420.
Support.
Little discrepancy.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Trustee Snyderman. Canton Fire Department is requesting to waive the bidding process and purchase emergency care products, accessories, and preventative maintenance from Stryker, a sole source provider, in the amount of $1,166,420. Director Stockline, do you want to add anything?
I guess I should for $1 million, right? No, actually, we originally started looking at this because we were going to replace, or I'm sorry, not replace, add the vehicles for the new, the squads. The squads needed power loads and power stretchers, so we were looking at that. Once we started talking to the vendor, we know that there were some price increases. We knew that we could get some better deals if we purchased a group product. And all the stuff that we have on our current ambulances are at the end of service life at 7 years. So they would not extend the warranty on these any longer. So we had those conversations, kind of looked at their new monitors that they have out, all these things added together. Originally, we were coming in at close to $2 million. So we had a lot of negotiations. They're a sole source provider. And we were able to work this down to that price that you see there, which is quite a difference from her original quote. So I feel very strong that this is going to be the best that we can do. And also, we're going to be upgrading these monitors, which is going to make a big difference in the future. As you know, with our data, right, that we are saving a lot of lives, much better rate than we used to in the past. And I believe that these monitors are going to make a difference of making that even more successful coming up in the future here. So the idea is to purchase it or to sign the contract by October 1st when the price increases go up, and then actually purchase them in the next year's budget. So that'll be adjusted in the upcoming budget.
Any questions or comments?
I was going to add one other thing. If you look in there, it says that there's a 6-year warranty, and I was kind of stressing out here prior to that 6-year maintenance agreement. So it's actually 7 years because it comes with 1 year maintenance agreement, and then it'll be added the 6 on top of that. So 7 years it will be covered and not having to pay that.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Okay, all in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item G6, consider approval of a purchase order for the technology needs for the Cherry Hill Village Factory Building.
Madam Supervisor, I move to waive the bidding process and approve a purchase order for the telecommunication and technology needs at the historic Ford Factory Building to CDW Government for a total amount not to exceed $23,000.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Seeger, supported by Treasurer Slavens. The historic factory building located in the Cherry Hill Village was recently approved by the board to begin the initial interior construction phase to renovate the building into a community center. As part of the interior development, the ITI department solicited a quote from CDW Government for the purchase of the new community center's telecommunication and technology needs. Technology purchases from CDW are derived from the State of Michigan technology purchasing contract held by CDW, and therefore, we are recommending waiving the bidding process and awarding a purchase order to CDW Government for the telecommunications needs of the factory building for a total cost not to exceed $23,000. Director Lefevre, do you want to add anything?
Nope, just we're at the point where, the exciting point where we're ready to start working on the factory itself, and with that, you get to start purchasing equipment. So with the help of our great ITI department, we're finally getting to purchase stuff that's going to end up in the building. So we're very excited to do that, and we appreciate all the help we've gotten. And Victor's here tonight, too, to help answer any questions you all might have about that. So.
Dr. Begbu, do you have anything to add?
No, but I'll take questions if you have any.
Any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Okay, that's the general calendar. Now we have public comment again. I'll go online for general public comment. So we have 6 people. If you want to raise your hand electronically and ask questions, please do so for 3 minutes. Public comment. Okay, I have Vijaya Sastry. Okay, just a second. Okay, Vijaya. Go ahead, Vijaya. You can unmute and talk. Speak.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm going to speak about the radioactive materials that's going to be dumped in our backyards. Thank you, leadership team, for all your support. And then we, as citizens of Canton, we are with you. Some of the questions are the comments that I heard in many other platforms is these radioactive materials, the power is less than the X-ray machines, things like that. But my thought is we are not going to sit 7x24, 365 on the X-ray machines. Things like that, the comments, if that's so, then why don't they keep it wherever it is right now? Why do they have to ship if it is not harmful at all? So hopefully we will have the good lawyers on our side, and then to help us out. I feel like we are, we are taking the burden of proving ourselves and protecting ourselves. Really, such a careless decisions made by someone. So it really hurts. Thank you again for all your support. And then again, I urge everyone to keep this pure Michigan as pure. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other online comments? Don't see any other comments online. Anybody in the room like to make a public comment? Okay, please go to the podium, please. State your name and where you live. Right. Oh. Okay, want to pass? Do we have enough?
Tanya and I can share.
Thank you, Tanya, for making it happen.
Please state your name. You might
Oh,
want to.
I'm sorry.
There you
Can
go.
you guys hear me?
Yes, speak
Okay.
louder. Thank you.
My name is Tapush De. I live in Canton. I was born as Hindu in Bangladesh. I came here as a graduate student in 1999 and living here since then. So something happened most recently on August 5th. There was a regime change in Bangladesh. Now there is no war going on, but for us, we were immediately attacked. The Hindus were immediately attacked in all of the country right after that. And I have my whole family there. My parents are there. My brother, sister, and their family are there. So I wanted to reach out to you guys and talk about it, and first of all, create some awareness. So this is not the first time it is happening, though. You will see that there is a chart there that shows the percentage of Hindu population is going down for 77 years. And the absolute number of Hindus, it remained steady for 77 years. So this is a case of genocide that nobody reports out. As far as the attacks that happened since August 5th, I noted few of them. You will see that temples were attacked, at least 15 of those. Hindu homes were looted, they were destroyed, and arson. That happened for 228 cases. Hindu businesses, looting and destruction, and arson. That happened 240 times. Hindu professionals were forced to resign. I went to Holocaust Museum in Farmington Hills. That's the first time I saw that in 1930s, this is what happened with Jewish people. That reminded me of what is going to happen to us. One 15-year Hindu boy was lynched on blasphemy charges. Hindus are being forced to, after all these attacks, now they are being forced to convert. As far as my personal story, I have my family members, as I told you, very worried that I probably won't see them. This is serious and heartfelt. Cannot stop worrying about them, cannot sleep. They cannot sleep because they are worried and they need to continuously guard their homes and all.
Thank you. That's 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. My request will be to create awareness through you guys. If you guys can pass a motion or so on, it'll be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room? Public comment for 3 minutes? All right, thank you. Public comment is closed. We now will have, let me see, we have administrative comments. Any comments from our staff? Start with you, John.
join us this weekend for our event here in the park, our beer, brats, and bands. Tickets are still available. It's a fun event. It's being held in Heritage this year due to our construction out at the Preservation Park for the new pavilion. And then following that, next Saturday, the 21st, we'll have our International Day of Peace, also at Heritage Park near the amphitheater. So plans are underway for that, and we encourage everyone to join us for that as well. So lots of great stuff coming up. You can find all the information on the township website under the events page. So please join us.
Thank you. A lot of fun stuff happening. Victor, do you have anything? No? Wendy? Chris?
I was just going to say that 2 weeks ago, we gave our award out for the firefighter of the year, and I know you were there, along with Kate, but Dan Balderrama received the firefighter of the year, and we were also lucky enough to give out a unit award, a life-saving award, for several firefighters that saved a life, and the lady, the victim, was actually there, walking and talking and doing great. So when you see those kind of stories, you want to continue to talk about them because they don't come around very often. And I'm proud of all the firefighters that work for us and work in this community to make that happen. Just that one incident right there makes it all worth it for 29 years, right?
Thank you. Also just got a grant, too.
Yeah, we got a $207,000 grant for turnout gear. So we were actually ordering turnout gear today, which was be an additional set of turnout gear for every firefighter.
Thank you. Director Norwood?
Only thing I want to note is we appreciate everybody's patience as we do the construction around Administration Building and also in Heritage Park. The trails are being repaved. We just finished up the golf course, so all the golf course paths are paved. A lot of work around the admin building in this area, so appreciate the patience. I know parking is kind of challenging right now, but this will pass soon. Thank you.
We're fixing things out there. Deputy Supervisor, do you have anything to add? Kate?
Yeah, I just wanted to note that tomorrow is September 11th, and I'm sure we all remember what happened that day in 2001. But just wanted to note that.
I think, Chris, you're going there for the ceremony, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be in Lansing tomorrow for the first responders 9/11 ceremony.
Stephen?
No, nothing to add.
Another quick reminder, taxes are due on Monday.
Tanya?
I have nothing to add.
Summer?
I have nothing to add.
Michael? You have an election, don't you? Do you have an election coming up?
It's not my election. It's everyone's election.
Do we have an election?
We have. We've got a little bit of time still. But, yeah, I don't know if there's anything happening tonight. But, no, I just got back today from the National Association of Election Officials annual conference, which was held here in Detroit. That was fun. It started on Saturday, and it went through Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then today. So I drove in, just part of the reason I was a little bit late getting in here. But it was a really fantastic event. About 560 attendees from all across the United States, and there was actually an election official from the Virgin Islands, so that was pretty cool too. Got to talk to them about how they administer their elections there. But super beneficial. I am in the process of obtaining my certification. It's called a SARA certification from the organization. I've got 2 additional classes left now, but I finished my class in communications and elections this week. So I'm super excited about that. I have 2 more to go, and then I will be done and certified there. But it was really beneficial. A lot of good breakout sessions. Got to interface with the Bureau of Elections, a number of election officials from the state of Michigan, and see best practices from all across the country. Talked to CISA. And talked about having them come in and doing a tabletop exercise with the Association of Wayne County Clerks on physical site security and network security. So I'm really looking forward to doing that probably in October. So pretty beneficial. Drove down every single day, which was good. It was a good use of my time. And then tomorrow, I will be in the office, but then I will be leaving to go to Northport for the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks strategic planning for the next year, because I'm on the board of that organization. So we are diligently preparing for the November election. I am falling victim to my participation in some of the professional associations right now with the organization and some of our regional participation, but definitely excited. We mailed an application to 54,000 voters in Canton Township to join the automatic absentee ballot list. They can fill that out and return that to my office if that's something that they think they're interested in doing. Sometimes individuals may live in our household and then move out of state. This happens with a lot of people's adult children, but they never notify us, and they don't cancel their voter registration, which is common. Some states we will catch it automatically because we are a part of a multi-state conglomerate called ERIC, where we compare our voter file to other states' voter files. But a lot of other states, they don't do that. It's become a little bit of a political issue. What tends to happen is individuals will move out of the state of Michigan and they'll stay on the voter rolls. And so you may get mail from somebody who resided in the home that you currently reside in, or you may get mail for your adult children who are no longer at university. If they're still at school, they're allowed to stay registered at your house. But if they've moved away and they've started a family and they're living in a different state and they've registered in that state, send that notice back, return to sender, and we will start the process of cleaning the voter rolls and removing them from the voter rolls. So if you get an application for somebody who doesn't live in your house, send it back, return to sender. If you're not interested in joining the automatic ballot list because you really like voting in person, don't send back the application. Just shred it or throw it in the garbage or recycle it, probably better for the environment. And then obviously we have Election Day. That will be exciting. Those locations have not changed since the August or the February election, but we do have early voting starting October 21st. And it's got all the bells and whistles of voting on Election Day. You show up, you show your ID, you put your own ballot in the tabulator, and you get an I voted sticker, and you get to feel patriotic and excited about it. Only you get to do it at your own time, your own convenience. You don't have to wait until some random Tuesday and only vote for that 12-hour period. You get to do it on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Friday. You can have a little party. So we'll be actually having an early voting party on October 21st from 5 to 7 at the Summit. We're going to be having a good time. There'll be lots of fun going on. If you want to come on out, we'll be notifying everybody about that. But October 21 is the kickoff for early voting. We are doing 14 days, and we are one of 2 jurisdictions that is doing 14 days in the state of Michigan. Everybody else is doing 9. But we're overachievers here in Canton Township. So we're getting excited for that. But again, we've got a lot of those applications out. If you've got them in the mail, you want to send them back, send them on back. There's a paid return postage, or you could put it in a Dropbox. Elections. By all means, I love it.
Are you doing evening hours during early vote?
Better believe it. We are doing evening hours October 21st, which is when we're doing our early voting party, the kickoff, which is 2 weeks prior to Election Day. And we are doing evening hours the last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of early voting. So the final weekend of early voting, we will be open, not 8:30 to 4:30. We will be open 8:30 to 7 p.m. at the Summit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So a couple things. So on Friday, we celebrated the Village Theater turning 20 years old. So that was a big deal in Canton. Also, the Tech Committee is going to have an apathon. And instead of just doing apathons and competing for prizes, we're going to pair some of the students up with nonprofits or charities, and they're going to write apps to help them with their businesses. Like a lot of our nonprofits are still using spreadsheets or pencils and pens, so they're going to help write apps for them so they can get into the 21st century and be more efficient. Another thing is the senior summit. So on this Friday, there's going to be, we usually have about 400 seniors, 50 and older in Canton that come and they get health screenings, shots, vaccinations, blood pressure. They learn about senior scams. And so if you're available, or any of your parents or any of your neighbors, let them know about that. There's still room. We have a lot of great people great companies that are going to be sponsoring that. Next steps for the injunction. So Deputy Supervisor, what are the next steps? That we passed it and Van Buren Township passed it. So what are the next steps that are going to happen there?
Well, I mean, it's litigation, so I don't want to talk about it too much, but I think the next step will be sometime in the near future, a suit will be filed
Okay, there you go.
to stop the radioactive waste from New York to coming to the site in Wayne County.
And if any of you read your focus this month, you can see a press release is going out tomorrow that thanks to the effort of State Representative Ron G. Puri and Senator Dana Pohanke, Canton is receiving nearly $7 million in grant funds that will go towards 3 important projects. One of them being the pedestrian bridge over I-275. So Representative Puri got $3.25 million to build a pedestrian bridge over 275 at Palmer and Haggerty area. So that's basically this treacherous path along Palmer is traversed by many residents attending the MCWS of Detroit schools and activities east of the 275 and tying to the field house that we had on our agenda today. So it will serve all walkers and bikers alike passing over that. Then we have a summit renovation project. $2.5 million. State Rep. Ron G. Puri secured the grant money that will be used to renovate 10,600 square feet of space on the summit on the park in order to expand activity space for Club 55+. Then Senator Pohanke was able to get us $1 million to renovate the Sheldon School to house Kids Talk, which is a child welfare program in Western Wayne County. So when kids go through trauma, instead of bringing them to the police station, this is a center that will be used for the region, basically, to speak to kids. And it's kind of neat that it's in a schoolhouse, in our old schoolhouse. So that, I think, we're up to, the last 3 years, bringing in $37 million to do projects in Canton, bringing tax money back. So yes, this is very good news, very good news. So there are pictures there and everything giving us the checks. Anyone else want to comment on any of that? That's good news. Press release out tomorrow.
Great.
All right, great, thank you. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support?
Motion made by Trustee Foster, supported by Treasurer Slavens. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Meeting's over.
I wanted to see who else would do it.